This is referee Dan Perch, and come celebrate pro wrestling right here on the Sit Down Marks Podcast.
Be serious for a minute.
Oh yeah!
Acknowledge me.
What's happening out there, everybody in Markland? Welcome. Come on in, sit down. Episode number 125 of the Sit Down Marks Podcast. What's going on out there, everybody? Welcome. Come on in, man. Let's talk a little wrestling. We want to thank everybody listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. That's apparently dying, and so any last listeners there. But want to thank everybody listening on SportzWire, Sports Radio. Thank you for checking us out. We're the Sit Down Marks Podcast. Like I said, we're going to have a good time here talking about wrestling today. So, only two Marks made the podcast. Who's with me this week?
It's your boy. I'm back. I missed last one. I don't miss them very often, but I missed the last one. You think after 125 episodes, I'd figure out how to push the right buttons, but I
thought we were going back to episode number 5 or 6. That was like the old intro there. I was like, maybe it's old school day, and Primo didn't tell me. You know?
Oh, it's a little rusty there. That's my mistake. Operator here.
Good stuff, man. Yeah. So Primo and I are going to bring you everything going on in the world of wrestling. We're going to talk about things that happened before Mania. We got night 1 and night 2 to talk about, obviously. And then we're going to talk about some other things going on in wrestling. You know, we got to get it in here, but hey, let's kick it off from the beginning, man. Like I was excited because Raw before Mania was actually good this year. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember we were texting about it. I told you this is the first go home Raw in years that we've actually really liked.
Right. And so I was like hype. I'm like, all right, man, this is
the
awesome.
One where Seth was out there, and then The Rock comes out, and Seth had that smirk, and then Cody comes out after getting his ass whooped the week before.
And then the belt whipping, ass whipping was on after that, man.
Oh yeah. They Solo holding him in the ropes. Oh
man, you can't watch that without wincing. You know what I mean?
Well, every single time The Rock used that weight belt, all I could think of was like 3 years ago when MJF whipped Cody on Dynamite.
You're right. I kind of forgot about that. Yeah. It's funny how this is all intertwined in here a little bit. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah,
you know?
It is wild.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that too. But my other fun part of the weekend before, other than wrestling, was did you listen to Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech?
Absolutely, I did. I guess your Hall of Fame speech is time to leave it all on the table. I mean,
yeah, right. Like I'm like, they can't touch me now, motherfuckers. Right?
Right.
Like I won't say whatever
right.
I want. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I enjoyed this one. What popped me was him walking out to the old ECW, the original music, like that.
Yeah.
That was like, small little things that.
Bubba was there. Tommy was there.
Yeah.
RVD.
Yeah. Of course, Philadelphia was the absolute most perfect city to do it in. You know,
I didn't think about it till today, but Taz wasn't there because I
didn't see. Yeah, he's an AEW guy now. Huh?
Yeah,
so can't cross over. I guess apparently. I don't know. Kidding, but anyway. But yeah, man, that was awesome. Other than that, I thought it was kind of lackluster. It was a small class. I heard. The
Hall of Fame.
Yeah. They didn't want to do big classes anymore. Mostly everybody left after Paul did his speech anyway. But
I was actually surprised they went first.
Right. Yeah. He probably didn't want to go on last.
You got the tribal chief introducing you, so
it's true.
They got places to be.
Right.
Tribal chief's time is important.
Right. I was excited that Heyman finally get in the Hall of Fame, and this was cool, man. I was, it's good stuff, man, to see a guy, that's just been such an icon in like the underground wrestling, you know what I mean? Like to bring it, to the forefront and, ECW to be what it was. I'll never forget. I mean, my dad, we were tape traders. I'll never forget, dude. We met this guy one time and Dad had a couple videos of something. He had a buddy and met at a gas station. They traded. And he said, man, he said, here, watch this, man. It's like, he goes, it's this wrestling, it's ECW. And my dad goes, oh yeah. Like, yeah, I've heard of, ECW, but it was Eastern Championship Wrestling. Yeah. So that guy's like, no, it's extreme. He's like, like, extreme. What do you mean? He's like, oh yeah, it's like, it's crazy, man. They bleed a lot, that kind of stuff. He's like, here, check it out. Dad put that in there. And like, I think I remember seeing the Dudley boys, I remember Dudley or Bubba with the tape around his glasses, that kind of stuff. But so, not to get off on that story, but, it's cool, man. So to see somebody like him, make it was really cool. Barry Windham, Mike Rotunda.
Yeah. US Express.
US Express was cool to see them go in.
So yeah, I want to talk about that one. So obviously it's cool to see them go in. There's just a lot around that. The Bray doc came out on Monday.
Right.
And then the US Express goes in the Hall of Fame on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with any of that. It's just like,
right.
The timing of it all right at WrestleMania. Like, it's just artificial a little bit.
Sure. And then like Muhammad Ali goes in the celebrity wing, which I felt like he was already in, but I don't know. It just felt like he was going in again for a different reason. And then Thunderbolt Patterson, like I didn't know much about Thunderbolt Patterson. I knew who he was. My dad was a fan and talked about him and being tough as shit, and but yeah, so that was cool. But let's jump in a little bit of just some notes about Philadelphia, period, man. So this Philadelphia crowd, right? Like if I, no disrespect, but I say they're the second best wrestling fans in the world next to Chicago. So these fans, they had to deal with some cold on Friday night. Saturday night, they came, a little more unglued. It was a little more warmer. Everybody's a little more loose. But, as a WrestleMania crowd, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you, how you think, did they serve? Did they, did they do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, it's okay. Philadelphia is one of the greater wrestling cities or town, whatever you want to call them. But not only that, that there are hardcore fans there. So it's like, and not just hardcore in the sense of hardcore, but hardcore in the sense of these people know all the ins and outs of wrestling, and they're not gonna pull any punches. They'll let you know what they really think. Sure. So, no, and what's funny is after I was thinking about it on night 2, we will get to it later, but I was just thinking about it on night 2 that WWE found a way to tame the Philly crowd, like not piss them off.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. They didn't turn on them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that was really well done. But let's have some fun, Primo. Let's talk. Let's get a subject out of the way, man. All right. Let's talk about your boy Pat McAfee. I didn't dig his commentary during the weekend. I felt like he was leaning a little more on the side of fanboy, which he does a lot. But I felt like he kind of like said a lot of stuff that kind of like made fun of the product. A lot of people are pissed at him because he brought up Roman's leukemia, I think, right when he came out. Not long after that, he said something, but I don't know, man. At this point, I would have really just loved to have just Cole and
Corey,
yes. What do you think?
I think it would have been just fine without him. But what I will say is that him being there, because I watched it, I'm sure my wife, Mrs. Primo, was freaking dog tired of all the wrestling I was watching all WrestleMania week.
Sure.
But I was watching interviews and everything from WrestleMania World all week. So Pat McAfee was doing his show from there too. So
Right.
the Pat McAfee podcast.
Yeah, I loved all that part. Yeah, I loved all that.
So obviously he's going to be there, but I mean, I don't know. Like, he's entertaining, but he doesn't provide the same, which he's not there to. He's not there to provide the same as Michael Cole and Corey.
Yeah, I understand why he's there.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm just like to me, he's like the equivalent of the guy in the audience yelling "titty twister."
Right. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I feel like that's what he's doing. Like, he's being really meatheadish about it. And, you know,
right.
So
yeah, I get that.
Over it, but he's fitting right into like this new era that they're coming in with. I say that, this dude, he's saying ass and shit and damn. Almost at will whenever he wants to now. I mean,
there
on
was
Raw
a point
after
when
Mania.
something happened on WrestleMania on night 2 where Michael Cole goes, "Holy sh!" and then Pat goes, "Shit."
Right, yeah. Like, I can say it, but you can't,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to see what you thought about it, but
I mean, I'm indifferent. Like, I used to love him. But I don't think that he has so many like irons in the fire. He has so much going on. So I don't know if he doesn't live the product like maybe Michael Cole or Corey does.
Right. Definitely doesn't. So before we get into Mania, man, let's talk about so as a yearly birthday tradition of mine and Mania tradition.
Happy late birthday, by the way.
Thank you, brother. My last year in the 40s, man. Let's ride, baby.
There you go.
So I always watch Supercard of Honor. Always. I always do. Yeah. So I watched it this year. It didn't seem to have like the going into it, like, wasn't anything I was super excited about, but I was cool. Mark Briscoe ended up winning the ROH title, so that was cool. But another thing was kind of cool, man. I kind of thought she kind of won it in a weird spot, but kind of one I don't really like to be used in wrestling. But Billy Starks is now the new and first ever women's ROH TV champion. How cool is that, man?
That is insane. Yeah. Congrats to her.
Yeah. She beat Queen Amanita. So
Queen,
that was
Queen Amanita,
yeah, so that was cool. And I was like, oh man, she was on our podcast. Seems like years ago. I mean, I don't know when it was, but it seems like a long time ago.
Yeah, it was probably 20. I'm not going to try to guess. Into 21, maybe.
Yeah. But a solid pay-per-view, man. Another thing I thought was cool is Mark Briscoe. He came out to "Give Me Back My Bullets" by Leonard Skinner, his brother's song.
Yep.
So that was cool, man. That was really cool. But I thought it was really solid, man. It was a really good really good card from Ring of Honor. And I've kind of been a little down on it since Tony bought it out, but
right.
But that kind of reeled me back in. I don't know that I'm gonna watch every week, but maybe I'll see what's going on.
You think Kingston was a good champion?
Yeah, I do. And I feel like in a roundabout sense, AEW and Ring of Honor is kind of like their feeder system, I guess, now, sort of way.
Right.
Somebody gets big and huge, they're going to pull them up. You know what I mean? So it's kind of feels like, but so that was cool, man. So let's jump into it, brother. Friday night, Eagle Stadium, night 1 of WrestleMania. It's too bad they had to have it in Eagle Stadium, right? They couldn't have it somewhere else, right?
It's a shame, man.
Damn it, can't win them all, can you?
You can't.
It's tough on a Cowboys fan out there, man.
It is. I'm in rival territory out here.
True. You are. All right, so Star Spangled Banner, Coco Jones was awesome. I was kind of like, because they usually do America the Beautiful, but they did end up doing it on night 2. because I used to always hear a rumor. I don't know if this is true or not. I used to always hear a rumor. Maybe I heard this from my dad's tell me at some point, but he used to always say that he would always that on TV when you use the Star Spangled Banner, you have to pay to use it. You have to pay somebody to.
Who are you
sing
paying?
it. That's what I'm
Government?
saying. I don't know, but so I always heard that Vince always did America's Beautiful because he didn't want to pay somebody for
Interesting.
Star Spangled Banner. I don't know if that's true or not. Look it up. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit. But I mean, but I always heard that. But anyway, all right. So opening bell time was 48 degrees.
Yep.
Opening bell time was 48 degrees. Time is not 48 degrees. The opening bell time temperature was 48 degrees.
That's right. Yeah, they were chilly, real chilly in Philly, and windy,
Yeah.
as you were telling me.
Right. Yep. Had a few buddies there that was talking about it was windy. I got some pictures sent to me where they were bundled up like they were at a Chicago Bears game in January. But but I got I fucking still love when Triple H's music hits. Man, I'm like.
Every time,
like it just
right
gets
there,
me, dude.
baby.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he comes out to welcome in this new era, and all this stuff, and I'm like jacked to the ceiling, man. I'm like, let's go! Like he's got me hyped, right?
I mean, all right. So real quick, this is just a sign of the times.
Yeah.
And he's a businessman now. He's using his real name. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. It's a little weird. Levesque, saying a lot, But
Paul Triple H Levesque is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Even when they announce him to the ring. So it's like, obviously that's his real name. He's a real person. Right. Triple H is just a character, but
Yeah. Yeah. And he ain't coming out with no sledgehammer anytime soon.
No, for sure. But I mean, well, he can't. He just can't. I remember, I think Pat asked him on the Pat McAfee show, and he was just like, no, I literally can't do it. So
Right. So first match, man, we get the big women's match. Becky and Rhea for the women's title. Raw wins, or they call them the Women's World Heavyweight.
The Women's World Heavyweight Championship.
Championship. There you go. Becky comes out. She's basically like promoting her book. She's wrapped in like like
words,
pages of her book. Or
yeah. There was like the big AI or whatever it's called, the AR, the augmented reality book in the sky, and then she's wrapped in pages. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, I guess. I was like, all right, and then but I thought this was cool, but the band Motionless in White then brought out Rhea, who sings her, her song.
I like Motionless in White, the band, like as an actual like fan of their music.
Sure.
But I always and this is with everybody. I think the only one that didn't feel that was super awkward was when Rev Theory did Randy Orton, but it always just feels so awkward.
It's like they don't know what to do. Like they come out, it's called personality. Punk comes out,
right? Even when Motorhead brought Triple H out, like
yeah. It's it's a little weird. It's almost like they should be playing it on the side of the stadium or something, like away from the entrance or something.
Like I'm not mad at it. Like it's cool, but it's just kind of it always is kind of a little bit awkward.
Right. So, obviously I listen to a lot of music. And so I pulled out my phone after that and I pulled up a bunch of Motionless in White and I was like, oh, I like more of their songs than I know I did. You know how you hear songs on radio, you're like, oh, yeah. But
what's funny is before she took on that version of her song, because she used to not have this version. It used to just be, I think it was this version without the words. I used to say back then, because she had shorter hair, I was like, oh, Rhea is like Chris Motionless's twin sister.
I didn't know who Chris Motionless was. Now I do. Yeah. I would have guessed his name was White before Motionless. That's a little
right.
Or is that a gimmick?
That's just his face. He paints his face white.
All right. I'm too old, I guess. All right. So Becky and Rhea, man, good stuff, man. This was a good match. This was good. I thought it was a great opener, and I thought it was the right result. What about you?
Yeah. As I told you guys last pod, I did anticipate a bunch of title changes. this wasn't one of them for me.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I agree. I think it was the right choice to have Rhea keep the belt. Yeah,
I thought it'd be kind of been nice to open with the tag match and then have Becky Rhea, since Rhea was retaining. You know what I mean? But I think Becky's going to take a little break.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Well, her and Seth both, but I think that for sure. That's why I had that feeling anyway, and I was just like, I hadn't been feeling Becky lately, or I don't know.
I haven't either. Not in a while. I mean, I never really have, if we're being honest. I've said it before, but I just really hadn't. But maybe a repackage of something else. She builds her. Is this? She's going to come back.
That's
eventually.
nothing against her. She's amazing.
She puts some great matches. Yeah, I'm just I don't know. All right, match number 2 was a tag title match. DIY versus it was a tag title ladder match. Both sets, Raw and SmackDown, were hung up, and they were saying anything can happen. Same 2 could win. It could be, obviously they were splitting it up. That's the reason why they wanted to do
up until this point, I didn't realize the rules.
Right.
Until I saw both sets hanging. I was like, oh. I texted my brother. I said, "There's going to be 2 winners."
Yeah, and I think I read on the rules on social media. It wasn't really put out there. They just kind of posted something, said, "Here, this is the rules." But so DIY, Gargano Ciampa versus New Catch Republic, which is Pete Dunne and
Big Strong Boy
Tyler, and then Awesome Truth, obviously. R-Truth and Mike the Miz versus Judgment Day, who was coming in the reigning Raw champions and SmackDown champions, Finn and Priest, and then the New Day, and then Theory and Waller, their new team. What is that? What are they? A-Town Down Under.
A-Town Down Under. Yeah. So I mean, I'm a sucker for these kind of matches.
I like it.
And I'm not gonna lie. After it was over, I really like the concept of having the 2. It's not going to happen again, or if it does, it will be rare. But having both sets up there like that and having 2 winners in one match, that was kind of cool.
Right. Yeah, I like that too. And so Theory and Waller won the SmackDown titles first.
Yep.
And then so I can remember after they were done. Did they just bounce after that, or did they hang around and try to get the Raw ones too? I don't think they did. I feel like but anyway.
I don't really remember seeing them much after that.
Yeah, me either. So after that, I kind of felt like I was like, either they're gonna tease it hard that R-Truth's gonna win, or they're gonna actually give them the titles. And it was some awesome spots. It was obviously, comedy is comedic as shit, but
he is so funny.
Yeah. So
the hot tag, that was so
the
funny.
Hot tag. He's like, it's a ladder match.
I loved it.
Oh man, he's honestly a good reason why a lot of people are tuning in right now, man. He's so funny, dude. And then this past Monday, the whole Judgment Day gimmick. We'll talk about that later, but that was funny too. So so they ended up winning the Raw title. So Miz and
Awesome Truth.
Or
I was very happy for him.
I was too. So match number 3 was Rey Mysterio Andrade versus Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar.
Yeah, something didn't happen that I expected to happen. So,
what do you think was going to happen?
Well, originally Ray had picked Dragon Lee.
Yeah, that's right.
Over Carlito, and then Dragon Lee was mysteriously entered backstage, right? So right. I was thinking, oh well, that was obviously Carlito, and then he picks Andrade as an outsider, hey, you be my partner now, and Carlito comes in oh,
right.
Okay, and so I thought for sure that Carlito was going to be a force in this match, to turn on Ray, but that never happened.
Yeah. Or maybe he's going to join Santos or something, El Legado or something like that, maybe. But
Yeah.
so Ray and Andrade obviously won the match. Yeah, it was okay. Wasn't a whole lot there, but I
Yeah.
was glad to see Andrade at Mania. It was cool. Next
Dude.
up was what's that?
He is amazing. Like
Who, Andrade?
Andrade. Yeah. I mean,
I'm
I've always
telling you,
known
man.
that, but
I
like,
know, right? It's like he just needs something to break through, man. He needs
right.
What was the other guy on SmackDown for a while back? He was a Latino wrestler. He got in a lot of trouble with David Page.
Alberto.
Yes. Okay. So you remember like when before everybody like thought he was a douchebag, like remember when he kind of like got hot, and everybody's kind of like on his side. Like, I feel like that's what he needs. He needs just like
Mexican
something
champion. Yeah.
like something to happen for him to kind of like elevate him, because like, man, like his wrestling just don't get much better. He can just do it all, man. He can do it all, literally.
He's got size.
Right. Yeah. And got a great look. I don't know if the mask thing's kind of getting over, like the Hitman kind of look, thing he's kind of been doing. But, I like it. I think it's cool, but, I just
it's
don't
badass.
know. Yeah. He needs like some like lights and pyro or something to go with it, or maybe not so much pyro, but maybe like some lights or something. But anyway, so the next match was what I thought was the biggest dud of the weekend, man. Jay versus Jimmy. I couldn't have been more disappointed. Like, I don't know what was off. Like, I felt like
you're not the first
knew
person
it.
to tell me that.
Right. Yeah. And at the end of the match, after Jay won, like he's laying there and like he kind of like keeps looking at Jimmy, and
you could tell they're trying to like enjoy it together. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can tell kind of like it, wasn't. It just wasn't good, man. It just didn't flow. Like, I felt like they didn't practice. Like, that's just what it looked like to me.
They probably thought
sure
like, hey, we're brothers. Let's just go out there and kill it.
Let's just do it. Yeah, yeah. 16 super kicks is what I counted, I think.
Oh, really?
16, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, anyway, I just thought that was a big dud. Big
Yeah,
dud.
I was actually really excited for that match. And no, it didn't really stick out to me, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I really thought Jimmy's going to win, because I kind of thought, all right, well, Jimmy's going to get a win because the rest of the Bloodline's losing all weekend, except for, Rock pinning Cody. But Rock still don't really feel like the Bloodline to me. Like, I feel like he's just an insertion for, you know what I mean? Like he's like the rest of these guys.
The Bloodline's uncle.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he is literally the Bloodline. Yeah, but
yeah,
like it's just weird for me to think that he's in there. So. Next match was the big 6 women tag matches. Bianca, Jade Cargill, and Naomi getting the win over the Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai.
Yeah, Jade is, I mean,
China,
she's a force
2.0.
for sure. Absolutely. I mean, so my wife had never seen Jade before, and she saw her. She just caught a glimpse of her. She said, holy cow, look at that woman's biceps.
I know. My wife too. She's like, look at her abs. Like, oh my god.
It's like, yeah, this woman's chiseled out of stone. So man, I mean,
she's gonna like her and Rhea is what I'm thinking of, like right now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Everybody's talking that Jade still needs a lot of training. Like, I'm like, well, I mean,
that's
so
probably why they put her with Bianca and Naomi.
Yeah, that makes
they're both
total sense.
Awesome. So
how do you like the way she's been pinning girls, man? She's doing like this little thing with her. She's
yeah, she puts it backwards and like that's kind of disrespectful, but
yeah, man, it is. It is.
That's a heel pin, actually. Man, think about it. But
boy, do they got plans for her? I bet. Like, why wouldn't you? Right? Like, holy shit.
Oh, I'm sure she's got star all over her.
Right.
She's got a badass entrance. Like, they put money into her already.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's only going to just go up from there for sure. So co-main event on night 1, man. Gunther finally loses the Intercontinental title to Sami Zayn. I didn't see this coming. I didn't.
Dude, I didn't either until I saw him with his son and wife backstage, and then he said bye to his son and wife, and then he goes. And the moment that got me is when KO is standing there waiting on him. And he's like, amps him up. He's like, go get this shit, basically.
Yep.
And I'm just like, man, that's a brother right there. Like,
Right.
Sammy's ready to run through a brick wall right now.
I know. I'm like, God darn it. Now Sammy's winning. I didn't think it was, but I don't know. Kind of makes sense right now, I guess. But I don't know. I like we talked about before. I wanted Chad Gable. I felt like Sami Zayn had a lot of shine stuff before, and this would have been a really cool spot for Gable, I thought. I mean, Gable and Sammy's going to be great, and Gable's probably going to win the title from Sammy. But I always
probably, but like, I will say, I don't think the whole training with Gable thing was necessary. But Sammy is awesome already,
right? Yeah. So, but I think big plans down the road for Gunther. Probably when they're ready to take the title off
obviously.
Cody. Maybe,
he's moving up. So
so
he'd be a good one for Damian.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I ain't even thought about that matchup. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
All right, night 1, main event: Rock and Roman versus Cody Seth. It's to implement Bloodline rules on Sunday night. If The Rock wins, basically Bloodline rules is no rules, is what Paul Heyman said. So we'll go with that. And Rock pins Cody here to set up the big night 2 setup. What do you think about this? How do you think The Rock looked in the ring?
So The Rock looked great.
He does.
Yeah, dude. I mean, number one, I'm a kid all over again when I see him come out. So it's like he can do no wrong in my eyes at that point. Yeah. But he literally looked at the ref and said, "If you keep counting, you're fired." So
right.
It's like, I'm like, all right. Well, I mean, there's no way Cody can win.
Yeah, that is Illinois' very own Chad Patton too, the referee.
Right.
What a cool spot for him too. Right.
But good match, and then. Obviously, Nat, we know now that Rock going out clean over Cody is good. Is going to bring up future stuff. So
yes,
sure. It was cool. Good on all 4 of those guys because they had a long weekend.
Definitely did. So night 1, man, give me a grade letter here. What do you think?
Well, so I was super happy after night 1 because and this is what I said to myself. I didn't text you guys this because I didn't know how to really convey it. But what I'll say is after night 1 was over, they've been doing these 2-night WrestleManias since COVID. So for like 4 years, 3-4 years. This is the first year that the 2-night WrestleMania really made sense to me because there was a reason, like the first night meant something to the second night. Yeah.
It felt like a 2-part series kind of, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it left me with that cliffhanger. Oh crap. Now tomorrow, now I'm really amped for tomorrow. So it did really set up Sunday for me. So I'll give it a A-.
Okay. I thought matches were decent. It was okay. Honestly, I was about like a C+. I didn't think it was. I wasn't. It didn't really get me hype. I kind of felt like I was shocked by Sammy, and I think a lot of some of the other stuff was kind of showcased, but but I thought it was average. But like I said, like you said, it was necessary to watch it. To if you've been following all this, it's necessary to watch it to set up everything for night 2.
Also, like I told my brother, classic hero story, man. So he had to fall even more to make it matter
against all odds, like
right.
Cards stacked against him, all that kind of stuff. So, all right. So WrestleMania night 2, man, God Bless America comes on. I'm like, okay, here we go.
War and Treaty,
yep. And then a really good USA chant breaks out, and I'm like, oh yeah, Philadelphia's awake tonight, baby. Let's go. I'm like, I love it. Like, all right, it's warm, it's a little warmer anyways. 7 degrees. It's amazing how much 7 degrees makes a difference. Like I know from living in the Midwest, like there's
And
a big
less
difference
wind chill. Yeah.
48 and 53, man. Yeah, for sure. So I'm like, all right, yeah, here we go. And then they hit us with another one, man. Like somebody, like you could have, I wouldn't have believed this at all. Here comes Stephanie McMahon. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Right? Totally
Yeah.
cool. Totally cool. I was glad to see her
Absolutely.
come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. And she got a pop.
Oh, for sure.
And she put her husband over, you know?
Yep.
So.
Yep. It was awesome to see her, you know, kind of like, like, hell yeah, you know, we're going into this, new era, and, you know, my husband's kicking ass and going, take over and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, kind of like, you know, just don't worry about, you know, anything that's happened in the past kind of stuff. So I thought it was awesome to see her, man. It was cool. So first match, man, we get it started off hot, you know, Drew and Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Really good, decent match. Punk comes out, he's on commentary. So obviously you're thinking, okay, what's going on here? He's not just going to sit there and call the match. You know, he's got beef with Drew, obviously. So, you know, a good, decent match. Shenanigans, obviously, but Drew ends up winning the title. I think it was the second or third. Claymore, you know, whatever it was. But
it was. I think it was 4 Claymores and a Future Shock DDT that took.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah,
he swings his leg under. So he wins, man, and and then CM Punk starts beating that ass. You know, and they're going at it.
The funniest thing about me and my brother were laughing about this. CM Punk has dying because Drew goes out, right? And this is when he's like, after he goes and kisses his lady, he turns, he sees CM Punk over there. He puts the belt on the table and does that crawl across the table.
Yeah.
And he looks at CM Punk. He's like, I want you to know, like, if you come back, I'm going to, end your career. And CM Punk had his headphones on still. And he goes, I want you to know I can't hear a word you're saying right now because I still have headphones on. So, and then, he's surprised. He takes off he does the old classic brace taking off and starts whooping that ass. And then what do we hear next?
Damian Priest music hits. Judgment Day music comes, and CM Punk. They're right on CM Punk's face. He turns around, his eyes get real big. He smiles.
He smirks. Yeah.
Yeah. They show Damian, running down, and Drew's beat the shit already. So, Priest comes in there and
good on Samantha Irvin.
Yeah.
The referee. This is the fastest I've ever seen the cash in take place.
Right. They're usually like waiting. Like, what do
you want? What do you want?
Yeah. So gets him in the ring, man, catches in on him, and Damian Priest is your new World Heavyweight Champion.
Dude, choke slammed him into the atmosphere.
God, he did. That was a big one on the big boy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Right. Drew's got to sell that, too. So he's got to throw his legs way up in the air. You know what I mean? He's got to take it straight, you know what I mean, to get it up. Yeah, so that was cool. So Punishment Martinez is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, man. How about
fellow Puerto Rican. I'm happy about that.
That's awesome, man.
Very happy.
Yeah, good stuff, man. I'm excited to see what they do with him in this, like he's obviously like, he's got a great look. People started calling him like what did Drew call him? The Bondage Undertaker or something like that?
I saw somewhere they called him the Bisexual Undertaker.
That was it, the Bisexual Undertaker. Yeah. Oh, Rhea called him that. Yeah. So it's cool. Cool to see what they do with that. So, just a side note, how much longer do you think Judgment Day goes before they start breaking this up? It's still pretty hot, dude.
I love them.
Yeah,
honestly. Yeah. You remember, like at the very beginning of them, we were kind of cold on them, but
right. I feel
think
like
about it at the time they took Dom on is when we started really liking him.
right, yeah. And you think about it, man, like when they got put together, it was like, okay, Rhea's like, and then they added Dom, and then, Dom like was probably one of the, if not the biggest heel in the company at some point. He's probably still top 3,
He's
maybe.
still good. He's
They
so
booed
good.
the shit out of him. So, and then so he was kind of popular, and then Finn and Damian got hot being tag champs, and what's the other dude they just added? I think he's been a good addition.
JD.
Yeah, I think he's been a good addition to him.
I mean, he's Finn's apprentice. So.
Right, yeah. So I'm thinking at least probably 6-8 more months at least, probably. So somebody will start falling out.
What's crazy? It's been a couple years now. So
right after Edge left, right?
You know what's weird is time, right? So in the 90s and earlier, and even mid 2000s, wrestlers in factions didn't stay around or stay together very long.
Right?
They made an impact, but I don't think Evolution was together but like 2 years. And lots of other groups were like that, where they made an impact while they were together, but it didn't quite last as long as you think they did in your head, like in your head.
Right.
But these days, wrestlers are around 20 plus years.
Sure.
Factions are around for a few years. It's crazy.
Yeah. It seemed to last longer now. So second match was the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley beating the Final
Bubba
Testament.
Ray on special ref.
Yeah, how about that, right? That
was probably the coolest part of that match, honestly. Yeah,
Snoop Dogg was terrible on commentary. He looked like he was like just ready to get it over with,
He was just saying shit.
Yeah, he was. They always got to involve him. So, but for this match, whatever, so it's fine.
Yeah, I was not invested in this one. This one was my piss break match.
Right.
And I like everybody in that match. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah. And, didn't have no steam. Didn't have nothing on it.
Yeah.
It was basically, Third match, though, LA Knight versus AJ Styles. This was good stuff, man. This one got stiff for a minute, man. Like they were laying it in on each other. I know they pumped it up at the press conference and rolled around the floor with each other and stuff, but
LA Knight went to AJ's house and all they did it. AJ almost got arrested at his own house.
Right, yeah.
No, I was cool with this one. I liked it. I mean, I knew this was going to be a banger just based off the participants.
Yeah.
And AJ debuted new music.
He did. Yep. LA Knight got the win, which it's the right move.
But, absolutely.
Man, AJ is solid right now, isn't he? That dude his arms look so much bigger than he just looks filled out. Like
he's doing. He was lifting pretty hard on that injury.
He was. Yeah,
him and Randy Orton were hanging out, man.
I know, man. Yeah. Randy was just doing squats whole time while he's talking to him, probably. Fourth match of the night, speaking of, Randy Orton versus KO versus Logan Paul for the United States Championship. So this is where you were talking about, so Sammy returns the favor to KO.
Yep.
When he's walking out.
He meets him in the wings, yep. And then preps him up, and I asked my brother if he was ready, and he said, yeah, I'm about to go fight him. So,
Primo's brother is Kevin Owens' doppelganger.
That's right.
If you haven't heard the pod in a while.
Inside joke there.
Yeah.
But no, I was cool with this one. I actually thought Logan was going to lose it, but he actually retained. So
yeah. I was a little shocked by that. I thought this was going to get put on Randy here. I
think Randy laid it in a little bit on that Prime bottle guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know who he is. He's ISO Speed. He's a streamer.
Right.
But
he put a boot in his chest.
I think he really, he kicked the shit out of him. That was good. No, it was good.
Yeah. So I'm they always do this Prime bottle spot. I didn't know who the dude was, but I kind of thought Randy would win this, but I'm still okay with Logan winning. Like Logan can go, man. I'm starting to like him a little more and more. Just kind of
no, he's amazing.
I'm just trying to judge him as WWE wrestler Logan Paul, not like any of the douchey shit that everybody.
At this point, he is.
Dude knows how to sell,
and he's a businessman.
Yeah,
that Prime logo is in the middle of the ring.
WrestleMania for 2 nights. Holy shit! Yeah, that's big time, dude.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's smart, man. Smart. So next match, man, if Cody hadn't won, I'd probably been most happiest for this match: Bayley versus Io Sky for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley won, and that was a big ass pop. But I thought the match was good. Had a good little build to it. They touched on the feelings. Bayley was talking to her. I was, I helped you, and I was on your side, and and you guys turned your back on me and all this stuff. But
yeah.
I like this though. I know you like.
I liked it a lot too. I was big fan of Bayley. Real big fan of Bayley. But my wife has been reminding me about this all week, so I have to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point in the match where Io was straight. When Bayley was laying down on her back, and it was before Io went up to the turnbuckle. Io was just like punching Bayley in the uterus. And then she like stomped on her, and she walked right over her stomach. My wife thought that was the most disrespectful thing that you could do to a woman. She was like, "How dare she do that?" But then Bayley wins, so
right. Yep.
No, I was very happy. Obviously, I'm stoked for Bayley. That's great. I like Io, but she didn't really do much as a champ. So,
right.
To be honest,
yeah.
But
yeah, I feel you. But I'm glad Bayley's got the title, and we'll see what happens with this run. I know they announced they got the WWE draft coming up, and so they're going to do some splitting up and stuff again. So we'll see where that ends up. So I could see Bayley and Rhea getting switched up. But we'll see. All right, let's get to the meat, brother. Main event, Cody. So last year,
for all the marbles.
Real quick, remember this shit, man? Remember last year when Cody lost? We were like, man, what the fuck are we doing? Like,
yeah.
All right. So
come on, man. Rubber chicken in the ring?
Right. I know. Look, here we are. You know what I mean? I'm like fucking Stardust, like, like all the bad shit, seen Cody on the indies a couple times, and he was reinventing himself, making himself, more, undeniable as he said, but so this was cool, but I just wanted to just remember how pissed we were last year, like
take us back.
It just seems so dumb, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so okay, eat crow. 1 year later, it was better. The
payoff was worth
it. But just like anything else, they really heated it up over the last like 5-6 weeks.
That's why they call it WrestleMania season.
That's right. Culmination. So, all right. So Roman and Cody for the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, Cody trying to finish the story. So before the shit happened, with surprises and all that kind of stuff happened, this was a good wrestling match, man. Like they were like Roman worked. Roman had his working boots on. Yeah, I mean, this is the stage to do it, right? And
when this started, I looked at my watch. I said, "Oh, it's only 10 o'clock. There's still an hour to go."
Right? I know. Yeah. And like, I was just like, man, this is peak, man. These two guys at like the peak of their wrestling careers, and like it was just awesome, man. And I knew a bunch of stuff was coming. I will say this: of all the stuff that I thought was coming, none of that ran across my mind. I thought Stone Cold was going to make the save when bullshit started happening. Like, I just knew that glass was going to break.
I was right there with you.
I was like, just watch. They keep showing the screen. You know what I mean? And Solo was in the ring, and they would show like the kept showing the Titantron, like the big, you know, screen behind him, like what's behind you right now, you know, and they kept showing that. I'm like, oh, here we go. You know, but anyway, so interference starts to happen. Obviously, you know, the odds start stacking up. Here comes Solo, here comes Jimmy, you know, to do all this kind of stuff. And then, so who's going to make the save right for Cody? And it ends up being John Cena, which was cool too. You know, super cool. He comes down, you know, to help. Jey Uso comes down to help too, to kind of fend off the kind of core of the bloodline. So they're going,
his brother. He speared him off the stage.
Right. Yeah. It was fucking amazing. And then so out of the blue, you know, when all the shit's kind of happening, I think Cody just took a rock bottom or something like that, maybe, or something from Rock, whatever he took. And then the gong hits. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I forget like how Cody was down for that. I didn't write a note about it, but
I think he was still down from the Solo Roman double team.
Okay.
They did the spear and the thumb.
Right. Yeah. Because I knew he was out for a little while. So, so Undertaker shows up, and I'm like, oh shit, it's the Undertaker.
Yeah,
and then
I popped for that.
Me too. But street clothes, I'm like, oh.
Hey, American Badass. He came in as that old Texan, the Undertaker.
I just wanted to see the black cloak and the hat and just the big choke slam, and
I said, oh man,
we
leave
out
it
of
to
here.
a badass from Texas to end this shit.
Yep. Yeah. So that was awesome. So then right after that, Cody with I think 2 straight crossroads.
Three.
It was a 3. Yeah, and the third one he like really picked him up and held it and laid it in. So Cody finishes the story finally. Dusty's baby boy is the WWE World Champion.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, obviously we both love this, the WWE World title is finally in the Rose family. But let me tell you, man, I'm 49 years old. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. When there's certain times in wrestling, when certain things touch on real life, and get you emotional, right? When he handed that belt to his mom, dude. Dude. Yeah. I cried, dude. I was like, oh my God. I was like, fucking wrestling,
Yeah, dude.
And it just meant something, bigger than wrestling, and just, wanting to make his dad proud, and I can understand that, and it's wild, White. But tell me what you were thinking too and feeling when Cody won.
So this match, just this one match, now believe it or not, today I spent about 30 minutes breaking down this match and all the storylines that were involved.
Right.
Because there's more than one.
Yes.
So not only do you have Roman, who our tribal chief.
Yep.
I have a shirt in my closet. This is Acknowledge Me. I bought that 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
right.
he was champion for almost 4 years. There's that story. There's a story of, so Jimmy comes out. Jay left the bloodline, and he comes out to sit for the save. Next up is Solo, because in the same exact spot and position as last year, where Solo ruined it last year.
Right.
And then when that didn't work, Cena comes out. Solo is the last person to put out Cena since when Cena was in the ring.
Yep.
So, and then after that, Cena put Solo through the table. The Rock's music hits. Obviously, we know the history between The Rock and Cena. Back-to-back WrestleManias there. So they get in the ring. Obviously, The Rock hits him with the rock bottom. We get Undertaker. We get Solo. We get Roman and Cody, John Cena, The Rock and Undertaker, 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. You got all these generations of wrestlers.
Yeah.
That's another storyline.
Yep.
Then you got obviously the Rhodes family and the Anoa'i Fatu family.
Right.
You got but the one that I love.
Let's talk about this one. That's why I wanted to talk about it separate. Go ahead.
Yeah. Man, when Seth Rollins knew, just like when we went to Royal Rumble 2 years ago, he knew that doing that music and wearing that gear would get under Roman's skin.
Mm-hmm.
And when Roman had the decision to make, whether to win and finish off Cody or finally his chance to get his revenge, he chose revenge.
Yep.
That is amazing. I love that so much.
Yeah. That's long-term storytelling if there's a definition of it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Because you say it all the time, man. Like I thought about you when this happened. You say it all the time. You're like, Seth and Roman still haven't finished what they got going on. We still gotta go there. And Seth won last time, and you know what I mean? Like Rumble, so that tells me that they're going back to that at some point, right? And it
really hit that. That's the one that I love the most. And I just like the fact that because Seth had told Cody that he would be his shield, and he knew that the foolproof way to get Roman to lose it would be to come out that way.
Yep. Well, he had said something to Cody previously that, there's no other person fit to be your shield than me.
Right.
And like when he first said that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm thinking nothing about it. Shield. And I'm thinking, one thing about that. But did you think Dean Ambrose was coming?
Yes. Dude, I was flipping my shit. I was over here in the recliner, and my wife was over there in the bed, and she said that at one point it looked like I only had one ass cheek in the recliner because I was so hyped up. Like I was barely sitting down. I was freaking out so much.
Right.
I mean, I'm telling you, I felt like a little kid again. Like that's like the wrestling fan in me really came out this past weekend.
Yeah, really cool. Like I like too that the story that Cody was, he was Dusty's son. He had all this lineage to live up to, and he went through these bad gimmicks, tons of them. Dashing, Stardust. Legacy might have been his best run, honestly. So and to reinvent himself as the Nightmare, kind of embrace the son of a plumber, son of a plumber, and be and be a Rhodes, just full blast, and not be ashamed of it.
Did you think that Dustin would interfere?
No, I didn't. Just because he's still AEW under contract.
I thought that there was a slight chance because he did to make that one video where he told The Rock like "fuck you" or something.
Yeah. I just think he was just kind of trying to help the storyline, but yeah, man, this was cool. All right, so tell me when I'm telling lies, Primo. Cody don't win this title unless he has that AEW run first, correct?
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, it's just necessary. You know what I mean? It was part of the step of the ladder, right?
Oh, absolutely, dude. And you know what's crazy about that? We've been doing this podcast for over 3 years now. 125 episodes, go us.
Mm-hmm.
But we were doing it back when AEW fans were still booing Cody out of the building.
Yes.
So
yeah.
It's so crazy, how everything can change.
Sure. There was times when I was like, man, like Cody needs to just be a backstage guy. You know what I mean? I felt like he was almost forcing himself on, with AEW. But
remember when he left his boot in the ring?
Yeah. But there was a time when I really enjoyed Cody in AEW too, when him and MJF were feuding.
Mm-hmm.
Cody cut a hell of a promo at an AEW show I was at live, and was the one moment, if you remember, where he was he threw his watch down, he threw his keys to the car down.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It was that with that one. But yeah, so so I've been up and down on too. I'm not gonna say I've always been on his corner. I'm not, but I mean, just this time it was. There's no way, I couldn't have pulled for him. Hope this story happens and that he got to finish it. So Roman's reign, in quotation marks, was 1,316 days. Primo, fuck, what he ended up third. He beat Hulk Hogan, right? Like,
I'm not 100% sure, but he was up
felt
there.
like he was going to tie him.
He might. Friday. I think he was. Yeah, he might have beat him. Actually, no, he did just beat him. I think. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's crazy is the closer we got to Mania, the more I was happy for Cody, but I was like, oh man, I was starting to realize that this is coming to an end.
Right.
Like this what we're witnessing right now isn't going to happen for a very long time again. And I was kind of being present and realizing, this is awesome.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's cool to be living in this time to see this happen.
He really carried the company for a couple years there. Like he helped him get through COVID. Through the Thunderdome years.
Sure.
A year.
Sure.
So
no, I mean
the whole bloodline storyline, all the tribal chief acknowledged me, everything. Like, for him to come out, for Cody could have come out the next night, and when they talked about him, and he got a thank you Roman chant. So it's like,
yeah,
I feel like, I mean, obviously, I'm not the only one that realized that what he meant.
Yeah. A lot of people respect Roman. I mean, I do too. There's a time where I wanted Roman to go away, like a lot of people.
Yeah, we all did. Yeah.
But when he hit this tribal chief, man, I was back on board, and I'm like, hell yeah. He's one of the greats, man. And I hope, I want to see Roman Seth at SummerSlam. That'd be great.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Fuck yeah, you know what I mean. But
there's a picture where whenever Cody was pinning him, where they show like Roman's face and he's smiling because he's probably happy for Cody. He's also probably happy to be able to take a freaking break.
yeah,
so,
for sure,
like
for sure. So a while back, man, like we talked about Cody, cutting a lot of promos, and one of my favorite promos is one from a while back. We're gonna play here for you guys. This one's cool because everybody wants to live up to their father's name and do their father proud and that kind of stuff and so just check out this kind of like foreshadowing promo here that Cody cut a while back.
Wrestling has more than one. I'm an avid reader, and I stumbled across this quote. It said, "A man often finds his destiny on the path he takes to avoid it." Right there is my father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. It's so simple to say, that's my father, but in reality, he was my hero. As I got hip to the industry, I worked up a little courage, and I remember I asked him, and I worded it very poorly. I said, "I didn't know that you were champion like Hulk Hogan." And he looked at me and he said, very stern and very patiently, he explained to me the champion's advantage. He said that he had won the match, but because it was by count out, he did not take home the championship belt. Right then and there, at 8 years old, I knew not what I wanted to do, what I needed to do. I was going to win this championship belt right here. I was going to place it. I was going to bestow it into the hands of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and I would tell him, nobody can take it away from you now. Unfortunately, that dream died. It died right in front of me. That opportunity passed. Or did it? Yes, I cannot physically put that title belt into my father's hands. I cannot bestow it upon the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, but I certainly can put it around the waist of the American Nightmare. I'm going to give the distinction that my family has long since been denied, and I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to do it for me. I'm going to do it for my family, and I am going to do it for the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Okay, so I want to preface talking about this, that saying like I was trying to find this particular promo, and all I could find was this one that had this dramatic music in the background.
You know what's funny about that is like a little behind baseball. But for when I went to go put this in, I was like, man, I wonder if there's a way I could take that music out.
So, all right. So, man, that dude can cut a promo, you know, and, you know, when he touches on stuff like that, and Cody, man, let's see, this is what gets me a lot about Cody. And this is what makes me even more of a fan of him. You know, a lot of times when he like making promos, talking about promo, he gets emotional, you know, you can see him. He like almost cries a lot, you know, and I'm like, God darn, man, like it, you know, it gets me, man. It just, you know, means he's speaking from the heart. But, so to wrap up this Cody talk, Primo, tell me how long you think he's going to be champion, and who takes it from him? Why not?
Survivor Series.
Okay, so it's November.
Yeah, at least until towards the end of the year. He'll hold it for like the majority of the year, and they gotta develop some. They gotta have some new contenders.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I guess it depends on where he goes in the shakeup in the shuffle. Or is he? I think he wants to be on both programs, which is kind of interesting because we have the heavyweight championship. So I don't want to, and I really don't want to diminish that championship. I like the heavyweight championship.
Yeah.
But who would be next? That's a good question.
There's only one that really jumps out to me. That you know, they'll probably build for a while after Cody beats probably The Rock at SummerSlam. He'll feud with Cody again probably, but I think he loses it to Gunther in probably like 8 or 9 months. It's my best.
I'll say there's Gunther.
Yes.
Okay. There's LA Knight. There's Kevin Owens can get a legit title run.
Yeah.
Anybody. This is a thing now. Cody is
Lashley, Drew, Punk.
Cody's a man, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So at this point, I'm not saying because he just beat the Tribal Chief, but they built the Tribal Chief up to be like a god.
Sure.
So
right. They can be able to do that with him.
Clean slate now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now it's like, you know, fair playing field.
Yeah. And it's a babyface run now.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
Switching. So yeah. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I think like 8, you know, probably, you know, but that puts him like right at Rumble. I just don't know that he would lose at Rumble. Like I feel like the Rumble is the attraction of the Rumble. It's not a, you know,
yeah, that's
like
why I said
push
beforehand to give him that rematch at WrestleMania or well, I don't know, but just to give him a good feud going into WrestleMania if he's not champ.
Yeah. So I seen something coming up that said like the next like 8 or 7 pay-per-views from WWE, like 6 of them are all outside the United States. because they're going to Glasgow, Scotland for Clash at the Castle. They're going to Saudi Arabia for a couple shows. They're doing like a
Backlash is in France, isn't it?
Yeah, Backlash is in France. Yeah, so big international flavor here with AAA. I like it because a lot of times that means daytime wrestling for us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But speaking of Backlash, so right out the gate, what we got? We got Damien and Drew.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I'm just trying to think because obviously Backlash is literally the stuff coming back from WrestleMania. So
Right, yeah, I don't see a Rhea Becky rematch. Like I could see
No.
Bayley and Io going at it again.
yeah.
That ain't done, probably.
Speaking of, I didn't mention this earlier, but there were some she's not ready to come back, but there were some Charlotte sightings over the weekend.
Yeah.
She was at the I watched the Slammies that they did.
Oh yeah, Linda McMahon was seen too. How about that?
Oh really? I didn't know that one.
She was seen over the weekend. She took some pictures with some people. So, yeah, I was like, huh?
All right then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's her and Andrade. So she's probably there helping support him. I didn't see Flair anywhere over the weekend at all. But so before we wrap up Mania talk, AJ said he wasn't able to make it tonight, but he had a line he wanted me to deliver, and he said that night 1 of WrestleMania was not needed, but night 2 was the best WrestleMania ever. So those are AJ's takes in a small
It's fine,
6 words.
AJ. I disagree.
So Monday after Raw is usually hot. Usually we get a bunch of debuts and that kind of stuff. Not a whole lot happened on this one. They touched on Drew a lot, but they kind of started off because I think the first match was like Shinsuke and Ilya Dragunov, and Roxanne Perez was on later on that night, and I'm like,
yeah, Ilya debuted.
Yeah,
Yep.
They didn't do a whole lot.
Roxanne debuted too. It's weird when they debut because they're the NXT champions,
right?
So it's like, and Braun's about to be full time on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been making appearances, but now he's really like he just did a farewell on NXT.
Yeah. So night 2, put the letter grade on that one.
Night 2 blew it out of the fucking park.
I mean, it got to be A pluses, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's pretty synonymous, but I want to throw it out there.
I loved it. I couldn't stress enough how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and usually we hit like that lull time now, but I'm a little excited. I'm gonna be paying attention to see what happens with Cody, because last time this year we were like, all right, lull time. Roman's still champ's going to be a while, all that stuff. So, yeah, but I'm excited for that.
How long till we see Roman again?
He's going to show up probably Saudi Arabia or one of those shows, I think, because they probably paid a lot of money to have him go over there.
Well, that's the thing about Saudi; they pick who they want, so.
Right? Yeah, so we'll probably see him over there. Month or two.
And then my other question I had before we give our overall score, does Cody get the belt changed?
No.
He mentioned it on the Pat McAfee show that he would love to not have. He doesn't really care for this version of the championship. But yeah, we'll see. He said if it doesn't happen, don't blame me, guys.
Does he want Big Goldie? Does he want Big Goldie back?
He wants a winged eagle.
Yeah.
Or an iteration of it. I guess a modern iteration of it.
Do you like the Rock's belt? The People's Champion belt?
I thought it was weird that he kept bringing it to the ring.
Me too. One time was enough. He didn't need to bring it out.
Like it's cool, and it's from the Ali family.
Sure.
But to bring it, because if you bring that to the ring, especially during WrestleMania, you gotta realize. Well, you realize. I know you do, but other people out there, you gotta realize. WrestleMania attracts all viewers, not just us who watch this shit all year long.
Right. Yeah.
So people will see this and be like, wait, what's that championship that The Rock has?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
makes them look like you got too many belts.
Right. We're like, wait, what does that mean? What is that?
People's champion. You mean the fans have a belt? Like,
Right.
they get to choose the bookings.
And also, did you talked about Monday Night Raw? How awkward was the whole? Let me hold that belt. Let me look at that.
This is awkward. Yeah, Philadelphia nailed that, man. They nailed it. It was.
I will say I was surprised to see The Rock on.
Yeah, I just didn't like the whole. Okay, I got to go away for a while, but I'll be back. And it's kind of like
he's like, I'm letting you know, I got my eye on you, boy.
Yeah. So overall, Mania. Wrap it up. What do you think?
Look, honestly, and I'm gonna say not even just the 2 nights. I'm gonna go Friday through Monday. I'm gonna give it I'm not gonna lie. Today at work, I gave it a 9. But now that we've talked it out again, I'm gonna give it 8.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm say about 8.5 too. Like, I know we had to watch. Like I said, we had to watch Friday to get to Saturday, but a lot didn't happen Friday other than just the main belts or the main event tag match. But I'm right there too. Like 8.59. Like this Mania was awesome, man. Like night 2,
I loved it.
Solid top 10 Mania for me.
People are saying it's the highest grossing, greatest ever as far as metrics go.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty damn good.
It was, man. It was. Yeah.
It legit made me feel. It brought that fan out in me.
Right. That Cody Seth match.
Get into all this.
That Cody Roman match had so much, like I said, the just storylines. Taker, like an avid fan, an avid watching fan could watch that match and be like, "Holy fuck!" There's just be so excited and watch it. A casual fan can watch that match and go, "Holy shit, this is cool! Ooh, there's John Cena, awesome! Ooh, there's Undertaker,
yeah,
shit,
it's The Rock
awesome.
again."
And then somebody that tuned in for the first time, with all that going on, it was amazing. It was almost a perfect match, dude. Like, there were going to be shenanigans and run-ins and shit.
Yeah,
so,
but I was, like I said, when it first started, I looked at my watch and said, "Holy crap, they're going to wrestle for at least 30 minutes before anything happens."
Right.
So,
right. Yeah,
no, and the build up to it, it really brought me back in. I was invested, and I really, really enjoyed this past weekend.
Yeah, I definitely did too, man. All right, so a couple notes here before we go home. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Bucky Collins. He had a baby girl just the other week. So,
congrats!
Congratulations,
girl dad. Yeah.
You're not going to sleep for 6 months, so congratulations. Right. But it'll be worth it in the end. But congratulations, buddy. See you at a show soon. I want to plug Dreamwave Wrestling next weekend, April 19th and 20th, Friday night is Dreamwave Uprising 2. If you're new to the scene, that is Dreamwave's women's division. So I'm going to be live on IWTV, I think at 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern, Friday night. And then Saturday night, Dreamwave Anniversary 9. It's another year in Dreamwave Wrestling. Main event, Christian Rose versus, co-main event, one of the main events, Christian Rose versus Gringo Loco. And then also Brittany Brooks is putting the Dreamwave Women's Championship on the line against Maggie Lee and Zeta Steele. So check those out, IWTV, man. It's going to be a good show. I got to ask you, Primo, I know you probably going to roll your eyes, but I got to ask you, man, before we go home, the big talk right now today was AEW released this video of Jack and CM Punk. What are your thoughts on that? Like I don't see what they gained by doing it, other than just buzz, I guess, but it seemed like it helped out Punk more than anything. I don't know.
I was going to say, So I watched the Ariel Helwani, the MMA Hour interview. I watched a lot of his interviews actually, but I watched specifically the one with CM Punk.
Yeah.
So, but them releasing that footage was stupid. Like, honestly, it made them look worse than anything. I don't think it was a good idea. I just, I think, like, well, anyway, long story short, I think that it was foolish on their end, and it just helps out the other side more.
Yeah. A lot of people said that they released this video so they can kind of like show what happened, move forward, and this is a way to bring Jack back. And he's going to like possibly be in the Elite maybe, and they can kind of like play storyline of him as like the scapegoat.
Right, but so if you remember during that time period, you know, Punk, and I've been critical about Punk, I'll say that, but not just this one time, but at the time he was made out to be like this violent monster, right?
Oh yeah, it was all his fault. Yeah.
And you watch the damn video and then you look at it and you're like, oh, that's it? Like, that's all he did? That's all that happened? So, like, come on, guys. You make them look it's kind of weak on their part. And then it's just kind of weird they even showed it.
Yeah. And even after watching the video, it seemed way overblown for what they were, for what it ended up being like, anyway, it's just like, it's kind of like
they should have got a "This is awkward" chant. That's what
yes. Philly would have gave them the "This is awkward"
right.
chant, so all right. So
what about Ospreay? Did you see that? Ospreay had a little 5-minute interview with Renee out on the stage.
Yeah, and the
taking shots at Triple H.
Yeah, he alluded to. Yeah, so I heard he alluded. I didn't know exactly what he said, but
he said that apparently there's rumors going around that I don't know nothing about the grind. He said, but you don't have any room to talk about the grind when you were busy grinding on the boss's daughter.
Nice.
That's fun. Brother. This guy will kill you. I would stop talking.
Right. He's a cerebral assassin, Will. Come
right.
on.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, Primo, that's going to wrap it up, man. WrestleMania 40 in the books, and we're off. On new storylines, see how long this Cody one goes. I'm excited, man.
Okay.
Wrestling's hot once again.
I'm glad you said that just now. So it had me invested, the wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is always close by, and she was even invested in part of the main event and stuff like that. She was watching, and somebody who's been with me for 18 years of my life had to deal with all this wrestling bullshit.
Yeah.
And she starts talking. She goes, how are they going to top this? How are they going to do better next year? I'm like, that's what we say every year.
But they do. Right?
They do it. Next year we'll be saying it again.
Right. Yeah, man. For sure. Yep. They'll have us hooked in for some other, different kind of reason.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Going to be interesting, man. Yeah. And next year I could see Rhea and Jade, main event in one night, or maybe even night two. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, so before they put Jay and Jimmy back together, it would only make it worth it if Jay has an actual title run. I'm not saying the main title run. I'm saying he could do like an IC or a US, but like just have some kind of singles run, kind of like version 1 Matt Hardy, and then then they get back together.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that. All right, Primo. Looks like that's going to do it, brother. Thank you, sir, for coming to podcast today. Appreciate it. All these other bums don't want to show up. Miss you too, brother. It was awesome mania, man. I was glad to talk about it with you and cover it. And So we'll be back here next week, or a couple weeks, a couple times here. And so check out at SitDownMarks on Twitter or DB on the mic on Instagram for everything going on with the podcast. And thank you guys all for tuning in. Download and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on SportzWire Radio. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. For Primo, I am DB. Check you later. Primo, take us home.
Adios.
Fuck AJ, I'm going to shit in his mailbox.
I'll say I'm not gonna lie, I almost killed a 6-pack during this.
Nice. That was so subtle too. I didn't even notice. Like you were. I mean, I seen you drinking, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I need to hear him go.
Right, I mute my mic. So
3, 4.
Right. What?
What? How many beers is
One
Primo
beer.
drinking? What?